others celebrate the wins,
Yes.
we celebrate the mud.
each episode has a special guest.
Tony-nominated actress, Broadway's Lily Cooper.
Tashir Zameda.
David A. Gregory.
Getting messy with muddy topics.
We are going to be talking about grief journey.
With hilarious moments
Now get over here.
And deep conversations.
I'm ashamed to even admit this, but this is what happened.
This is Into the Mud.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Into the Mud podcast. While others celebrate the wins,
We celebrate the mud. I'm Alex Cumin,
I'm Drew King.
and we're here with our wonderful guest today, Jay Jurden.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
We're thrilled to have you. So
Yes.
excited.
You've been
to talk
talking about this for a while.
I know we have been.
Yes.
And so our topic today is censorship.
Yes.
And it obviously.
Believe that.
Yeah.
Why? Why censorship? Yeah.
Current events have been popping off,
Yeah.
and I have just been absolutely loving what you have had to say. And I, particularly with your background, you have such. I was reading your bio today, and I was like, my God, you have done everything.
Oh, too much.
Not enough. Not enough yet.
Keep going, keep growing, keep collecting.
So you're dynamite stand-up comedian, but you staff writer for The Problem with Jon Stewart.
Yes.
Late Show, you have done 3 times The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon.
Yes.
You've been on Late Late Show with Corden.
Yeah.
Comedy Central featuring
Yeah.
Late Show with Stephen Colbert
Yes.
and HBO's High Maintenance.
Yes. And after midnight 3 times.
And After Midnight 3 times. You
Yeah.
sick bitch. You're a sick little bitch.
I
Good
was
for
very
you.
lucky for the past few years. I mean, back
Not
when we had
lucky.
TV.
Lu-
Speaking of censorship. Yeah.
yeah, lucky, sure, but also extremely
you.
talented.
I mean, a lot
love
coming
watching.
from you. We get along very well because you're fun at the hang, you're fun at the bar, you're amazing to watch on stage. Both of us doing stand-up comedy, because there's so many straight white men who kind of go, what? Whenever their minds get blown by a woman with opinions, a queer black person, what we have to do is both give them the vegetable but also put cheese on the broccoli. So, you know what I mean? You know,
I love
exactly.
We can expand on that because
We have basically they go, I don't want vegetables. Vegetables being like anyone marginalized with an opinion. Then they get on stage, they go, well, this vegetable's kind of pretty, and they go, this vegetable's funny. Okay, I like vegetables. And
This
that's-
vegetable's spicy.
But that's like that's our,
Yeah.
exactly. But that's our
Yes.
job
Yeah.
as comics, and so the benefit is that we are kind of like going from a longer distance, so the degree of difficulty is greater for us, and it's a bit more impressive. I've seen shows where men get kind of mad at Alex, and then they go, "Oh, she's funny." They're in the front, kind of upset. They're either a bunch of boys, or boys will think that they can like, kind of like out shout female comedians, or like I've seen male comics basically kind of go, "Oh, that female comedian that went up before me, she was kind of loud." I'm like, yeah, she's a comic.
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's these little kind of barbs and these really pissy little faggy jabs that some of these straight men will throw.
So many
towards
microaggressions,
Yeah,
yeah.
so many micro. And imagine you being a comic, you have to go, I'm good, and then perform, and then crush.
It's a thing that I've been struggling with a lot with lately is like the constant pushback.
Yeah.
The second I get on stage, the audience going, nope, woman.
Yeah.
Shoulders up,
And
unwilling
having
to
to just,
And more importantly, not a woman who is kind of saying women suck. A woman who's going, first of all, I have a lot to say. Secondly, shut up. Third, you're going to laugh.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
there's like a power that you basically have to like grab from them and grab from the crowd. And it happens a little bit with me because I'm queer, and it happens sometimes when audiences are kind of like, this is the first black comic. Are they going to make me feel bad for being white? And I go, no, you're going to do that. I'm going to make you laugh. You're going to have so much fun.
You're going to
but
guilt
you're
yourself.
so right about having to take it
Yeah.
versus it being willingly given
Yes.
for any white male that walks on
Yeah.
stage, and the assumption this guy's going to be funny versus the assumption you are not going to be funny, and having to dig out for the first 2, 5, 10 minute, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's what I think.
And
makes
having
it-
to address it and not having to like shy away from it, not
Yeah.
feeling smaller because of it. Stand-up comedy, as a rule, it's one of these things where people go, oh, it's so masculine. And you go, no, it's it's performing. It's powerful. It's dynamic. But for you to associate that with men, that tells me a lot about you.
There's this, I think it was Peggy Lee. There's this Peggy Lee quote that I love where she got her start in like noisy jazz clubs.
Yeah.
And her mantra to herself was softly with feeling, because she was like, I could try to yell over everyone, or I could bring them to me by speaking softly so they have to quiet to hear what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
That's power.
And I love that, like attract, don't chase kind of mentality that I'm trying to embody more. Because definitely up until now, I've been very much in the like, stand up is inherently like a masculine thing. It's like alpha, like established dominance. The second you get on stage, be loud, be in your face. And that's sort of what I feel like I've had to do to be like, hey, I belong up here.
Yeah.
I can hang. But now I'm like, but is that me? And I don't think it is, because it's exhausting me. I can't fucking do it anymore.
And I think that you and a lot of comics, but you have the ability to do both. And there's a moment when you can like hook them, and then I don't know, you know those moments on stage where you go, okay, everyone, quiet down, and the audience actually does, and you go, okay, good.
And you go, now
Okay,
you're mine.
Now
I
we can
got you.
play a little bit.
Yeah.
There are those moments where I think that both knowing what the fight has been, you're kind of like, okay, I know what to do to get them to pay attention to me. And then you also can go, oh, well, I kind of want to do that right now. I don't want to blow my voice out tonight. So actually, everyone, what's up?
Yeah. I love that. Well, and that goes great into the first question I had for you. So we're talking about censorship today. For anyone who's living under a rock, we just had the second late night stand-up.
Or anyone in witness protection, because they got you.
Yeah. And they'll get you.
Yeah,
they
folks.
will get you. Jimmy Kimmel was removed from the air and reinstated a week later after a massive boycott to Disney and the financial blow that they saw, that when they fuck with free speech, that was actually felt like such a winning moment of like, oh, we have this tool that we now know.
Yeah.
When your shares drop by billions, there is power in consumerism.
1.4 million subscribers lost, couple billion in shares lost. Shareholders are losing their minds. I feel bad saying Bob Iger definitely was like, oh, I didn't know this was going to happen. And Bob Iger does seem like a guy who sometimes will be in the middle of things. Like, I've seen him take a really hardline stance on some things, but I've also seen recently over the past few years, if you've noticed, every Pixar movie, they've kind of been like, oh, well, like if Fox News is going to complain about the woke element of this, we're just going to take this part out. Yeah. So it's the fact that they got mad that, I don't know, a trans masculine person was showing someone tampons and seeing red. They got mad at the very kind of overt queer subtext in Luca.
Yeah.
They took away some of the queer elements in Elio. And they also, and then,
Oh, and Elio was also like the first, what was it, like first like Latino?
Yeah.
Or like
Latino directed, I think, and written, but then that director stepped away, and then America Ferrera stepped away because America Ferrera signed on because she wanted to be a kind of cool new Latino story being told. So sometimes and I'm saying this as a person who does have a good relationship with Disney, and I like, it's hard. I know someone literally just did a podcast this morning with Louis Vertel, who's a writer for Kimmel.
Jeopardy Snap.
Yeah.
Do you know who Jeopardy Snap is?
I know Louis Vertel.
Yeah.
Like,
so tell.
Originally went famous, at least visually for people, had always been a successful writer, but he's actually friends with Tim, my roommate. Had this very funny moment where he was on Jeopardy. They asked him a question about, an Arthur Miller play, and the answer was, what is the Crucible? And he was like, what is the Crucible? And they were like, correct. And he was like, yes. And it was like very gay and very queer and very funny. And the world was like, yes. And then it turned into a meme. And I call him Jeopardy Snap.
In the same way that how, a lot of what queer men have in their head is trivia. Just all the time.
I'm with you.
And
I have, if you have ever done, what was the drag? It was at Rise, and it was...
Oh, we went to Musical Mondays at Rise. And
okay.
they were like... They had two contestants on stage that didn't know any of the show tunes, and I was like,
fuming.
Mamma Mia, like
Smoke
Sunset
coming
Boulevard,
from your ears.
Sweeney Todd. I knew everyone, and they didn't know it, and I kept on like having to raise my hand to be like, I know it.
And you were like, do you know this one? Do you know this one? Do you know this? And I was like, if it's not Liza.
when you come out, you do kind of have to pick a specialized interest. Like, I was lucky enough to get X-Men and a lot of comic book stuff, and then so many other people got musical theater. Louis kind of has all of media and actresses dating all the way back. He in his mind, there's a Rolodex of just films,
Oh my
iconic
God.
roles, both television and film, and women's names. To
That's
the point where I
wild.
go, oh my God.
I love this.
Lisa Traeger may be a gay man.
Yeah.
She has the pop culture. She has an unbelievable pop culture catalog.
One time I was walking with Lisa. This is how I know Lisa isn't a gay man. One time we were walking from something, and she went, "Jay, slow down. You're at gay speed right now." I was like, "You're right, girl." I was booking it. I don't know where I was headed. Yeah.
Yes, story my life, gay speed.
We sometimes will leave the girls and forget they're wearing heels.
Yeah, but
You
still
go
pick
gay.
the fuck up.
No.
Like, we got places to go.
No. You can't do that to them if you're on clouds and they're in heels. That's
I
not
know.
fair.
I
That's
know.
not fair. Be better
It's-
to your sisters.
I'm terrible. I can be terrible.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're a good support. You're a good ally.
You know, I
You're
try.
a good ally.
You
yeah,
are
we
too.
support your lifestyle.
We support women.
All right, sorry, we
okay.
completely misdirected you. So back to Louis Vertel.
Yeah, so Louis Vertel, he said that he was also happy to see this kind of instant outpouring against the censorship. And by the way, censorship is different than critique. There's always going to be critique. Censorship is when the chair of the FCC goes on Benny Johnson's podcast, speaking of gay people, goes on Benny Johnson's podcast and says we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and then tries to say that he's going to make it harder for the merger to happen that will affect Sinclair and I think a couple of other of the distributors for ABC, the ABC affiliates.
Next star.
Yep.
So when you say that on a podcast that day and then the verdict comes down that the show's going to be suspended indefinitely, you're kind of doing it nakedly and explicitly in our faces.
Yeah.
And then he was like, no, it was a joke. First of all, not a well-written joke.
No. Structurally, not there.
Yeah,
Structurally,
I have
Needs a lot of work.
notes.
Not, yeah, we've all got notes.
Yeah, so that was a very clear case of government interference and censorship. And the comics who didn't get it, I was like, no.
Well,
you
his
have to-
ratings.
Yeah.
The ratings were bad. Shut
Yeah,
the fuck up.
no. Because also the ratings argument, those are discussions that happen kind of quarterly and
Yeah.
in periods where you go, okay, what's the contract renewal look like? What are we looking like moving forward? Do we shorten it from like 5 days a week to 4 days a week? Those are ratings conversations, and those happen all the time.
And if it is ratings, then why did we cancel Colbert? Especially then he won an Emmy. Like his ratings were dynamite.
Right.
Well,
So if
once
it's-
again,
if it's about
Paramount,
ratings,
Skydance,
Paramount,
It's not about
Yeah.
Exactly. I
But that
know.
one was
So,
a bit more
don't
subtle.
scapegoat with
That one was
ratings.
more subtle. That says, oh, you get to play out the rest of this season.
Mm-hmm.
This one was so kind of naked
Abrupt.
that everyone
So
had to be like,
abrupt.
what?
Had to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
comics who didn't, you look kind of corny.
Mm-hmm.
You looked corny to your peers.
Mm-hmm.
You had what I really loved because you immediately were like on it, talking about it, and
Yeah.
like what were some of the initial thoughts that you had, because you were talking a lot about like the free speech comedians who are all about like, and I think Mark Maron had this great bit in his new special about like not being able to say the word retarded and like and we'll censor that out.
We'll bleep it.
Also, the fight for that word shouldn't be the fight that is the most precious to you. The fight should be against this administration kind of giving you the thumbs up or the thumbs down. This administration is obsessed with comedy because of the power that comedy has, and he went on so many podcasts, and JD Vance keeps going on podcasts. He did Theo Von twice.
Theo Von,
There's
Jesus.
there's an obsession with comedy, but comedy that never makes fun of them. And to what end, I ask? If you're the president, you're going to be made fun of. So I remember people making, like my first comedic memories. I remember people making fun of Bill Clinton.
Yep.
Bill Clinton, when I was in elementary school,
Yep.
I learned, they were, in my elementary school, a fifth grader called it the Oral Office. And I was like, oh.
get it, yeah.
Whoa.
Letterman on the Atlantic Festival last week, Letterman was like, I have been on air for like all of these, we went hard on
Yes.
these guys. He goes,
Yes.
Never has this ever happened before.
Yeah.
And for people to say,
This-
"Oh, they never made fun of Biden," you're a liar.
You're an
You're
absolute liar.
You're a liar. They
Everywhere.
called
Bumper
Biden
stickers.
old every day.
Every day.
Every day. They talked about Hunter Biden every day. These are the people on the left and in the center. They made fun of Hunter Biden and Joe Biden every day. They made fun of Barack Obama. They made fun of Barack Hussein Obama from the beginning of his like presidential run through his stay in the like,
including his wife
Yes.
and his family, his whole family.
And I will say that I think what we're seeing right now is the current administration kind of being mad that they aren't cool.
Yeah.
I
They're
guess
the
what?
most uncool.
Yeah.
They're getting roasted
Yeah.
on South Park
But
in a way that's like
Okay, we all went to high school. The principal is never cool. You can't
Yeah.
be a cool
You can't
principal.
be a
You
cool-
can't be a
no.
cool vice principal. That's even
no,
worse.
no.
Because a vice principal, you're not even the head. You're like,
You're
Yeah.
a corny. You couldn't even be the principal. But that's kind of what they want. They want to be cool, and that's just not going to
They
happen.
wanna be
so
the
they
cool
lash
gym
out.
teacher.
It's so mad. They want to be, yeah.
They want to be
Guess
the
what?
cool
You
gym
wanna be the
teacher.
cool gym teacher. Sorry.
Take
Yeah.
a pay cut and take
Yeah.
a responsibility cut and get out of there.
We wouldn't even be talking this much about you if you didn't want to be in the public eye because you wanted to be president.
Mm-hmm.
You're
a narcissist.
79.
Yeah, exactly.
You're 79, and this is what you want to do?
Yeah.
Mike Birbiglia, he kind of instantly also was like, this is...
The
the Henry. No, because I know that he's such a nice guy. He's been kind whenever I've interacted with him at the Cellar and at his show, Old Man in the Pool. He was really sweet to me.
Yeah.
So I think that like the reason this also kind of like ruffled Mike Birbiglia's feathers is that he is an artist, and he's an artist that comics respect. So he saw this as putting artistry in danger, and rightfully so. This was kind of like a very clear declaration from this administration that they want the Kennedy Center, they'll take the Kennedy Center. They want to give Stephen Colbert one season, they're going to take next season away. This is the first time they said, actually pull the plug now.
Mm-hmm.
And it would just, I feel like if people hadn't have had a reaction the way they did, it would have just kept happening.
Yeah.
You will just let it keep happening.
It was extremely. I wrote my little Substack
Yeah.
about Lenny Bruce.
100%
There you
Lenny
go.
Bruce is the one-to-one.
100% what. So Lenny Bruce, for those who aren't familiar, was one of essentially became like the First Amendment comedian.
Yeah.
Posthumously dismissed, but was charged with what was it?
Obscenity?
Public obscenity.
Obscenity charges
And
for saying
obstruction
cocksucker,
of-
for saying stuff that particularly in the 50s and 60s was like way ahead. He was so ahead of his time.
And
with
even
what he was
arrested
saying.
multiple times, right?
But he was arrested all the time.
Multiple
He used to
times, yeah.
wear a trench coat to his sets so that he would have something to sleep on in the jail cell. So he knew
That's
going
incredible.
into it, right? So he knew, but he has this quote, if you can't say fuck, you can't say fuck the government.
Woo! Yes. That's a bar.
Yep.
It's like,
That's a dynamite quote.
can you and that was just so immediately what I thought of with what was happening with Kimmel was just like the job of the comedian is to poke and to prod and to punch up, which is the other thing about this administration being so prickly about being made fun of. It's like, you are destroying people's lives.
Yeah.
You are
Quite literally.
demolishing this
'Cause
country.
You know what's not funny to me? I'm not going to laugh at an AI generated image of you putting a brown woman crying on Facebook or Truth Social because you're taking her kids away. That's supposed to be funny to me. It's not.
That's
It's
not
not.
comedy.
Comedy
But
is
there's a cruelty and there's a comedy kind of, if you look at it's very Lord of the Flies, like little evil boys, if left to their own devices, kind of like He-Man Woman Haters Club. They're like, aren't we funny?
Yeah,
And to
they think
them,
it's funny.
I go, yeah, it's probably funny to y'all, but no one else thinks it's funny. We all think it's
Right.
sad, weird, and gross.
yeah.
But when it comes to a moral standpoint, it's just literally not funny.
It's-
It's like when we all die and we go to heaven and we're all being judged. That's not something that I would say whoever we believe in the universe
but it's
is gonna
like
be like,
to
that's
us
funny.
it's not. To us it's not.
I guess
to,
not. I don't
to
know.
some
I
of
just think
his,
that I guess
there are people that love that. There are people that love it. So my question,
understandable. Yeah.
what do you think the job of a comedian is?
I think the job of a comedian is to basically ingest raw materials that is live, your life, or kind of from an observational standpoint, and spew out something that is most importantly funny. And then sometimes I think the cut should be like 80-20 funny and 20%, 80% funny, 20% truthful. And every now and then you have these beautiful kind of really piercing thoughts that get through, and you don't shoot for those. You kind of go, oh, this is funny. Ooh, I really like this thing though. That's your job. And so the Kimmel joke, the joke of it is he's at the fourth stage of grief construction when Trump was like, oh, I missed him so much. Do you see these trucks? We're building a ballroom. To me, that is the joke. I think they kind of like got really ticky-tack and they were able to say no because you semi-soft accused MAGA and the right, which is this amorphous blob. You don't even have to, I think because he said Fox News, they were able to get him. But they really kind of went super technical as far as like trying to be like, this is how we can pull it. And I don't understand what the purpose would have been. To intimidate us? Because it didn't work.
No.
Yeah.
Quite the opposite.
Yeah, it kind of made everyone upset. What do you think? What do you think the job of a comic is?
I think that the job of the comic is to question societal rules.
Yeah.
And to push back on the people in charge.
Exactly. Yes.
And to expand conversations through sometimes provocative thoughts or sometimes thought, like, again, I've been reading Lenny Bruce's autobiography this last couple months, so that I just have him top of mind. But the stuff that he was saying, particularly at the time, was so far ahead and just was not the way people were thinking. He was talking about race. He was talking about religion. He was talking about sex. He was talking about all this stuff that wasn't even anywhere close to people's minds. But clearly it struck a chord because of his popularity. That's when the government started. That's when local officials started going in on him, was when he started to gain popularity and they were going, oh, wait, this guy that's pushing back against all the stuff that we've said is not okay to talk about, or pushing back against us as an entity.
Yeah.
We need to shut this down.
Yeah. I mean, regressive comedy can work if you are making fun of how backwards we were. People comment on this all the time. I think comedy usually is moving forward, moving towards something, attempting to... If you get on stage and you go, things should be the way they used to be, usually everyone in the crowd goes, no, because like I remember how things were and they weren't great. Usually. But now there's this kind of like uptick of people being like, oh, things should go back to the way they were. And you go, why is that? Is it because it was better for you specifically? Because that's not what this is about. Also, comedy is theater, and so whenever theater gets regressive, it's kind of like boring. Okay, case in point, if everything is a revival, nothing new is being made. And I'm not, no hate. People need jobs. I like seeing chorus boys, but if everything is a revival, then like we do need something new.
I have a pushback to get to that. I'm with you. I'm totally with you. I want, of course, and I support original material. I'm also only saying this because I'm not a comic at all, but I come from the musical theater world.
Say it.
I am only in support of a revival if they have something new to say.
Whoa, okay. Yes.
If you have to have, like, just giving me another revival with a revival of the choreography and just being like, oh, it's the same show, the same choreo. Maybe we'll spruce up the arrangements a little bit. Yeah. But like, oh, everyone's going to be wearing modern day clothes. And you're like, yeah, but what are you changing? What's the statement? Point being, did you see the new Cats revival?
Oh, yes.
At the Perlman downtown?
It's the ballroom one.
The ballroom.
Yeah.
Amazing revival. We'll go see it. That is a perfect
Coming in
example.
Broadway now. Yeah.
Perfect example. Yes.
Okay.
Perfect example of a revival done well and done right.
Yeah.
Because they took a show that was originally literally just about a poem about cats that Andrew Lloyd Webber wrote, and cats just dancing around and wanting to get to the heavy side.
Well, T.S. Eliot.
T.S. Eliot, exactly, yes. Then, when they brought it back to off-Broadway and then now moving to Broadway, they spun the whole thing as if it took place within ball culture. Voguing ball culture.
Yes.
And more importantly, because the cats are cats who are strays, and a lot of black and brown kids who are in ballroom were cast out from their families because of their transness or their queerness. So there is a kind of built-in found family, outcast community there. And that through line kind of reads really well with that. Yeah.
Exceptional revival. Okay, carry on. Sorry.
No, but
that's great.
That's saying
great.
something new. So when comedy says something new, and when comedy kind of pushes back against the government, I think to say, no, I'm on the side of the government. Listen, I got vaccinated, but I wasn't like, oh, I love Joe Biden. I was like, I like going outside. I like not having COVID, but make fun of him. No one tried to no one tried to shut down anyone who was making fun of masking mandates or vaccine mandates. No one said, you can't tell this joke. They said, tell the joke, but also, why are you coughing so much?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you coughing so much?
He said, I get you hate vaccines. I get it, but you coughing a lot, man. Hey. I got some.
Point it away from me.
Yeah, you need to
Cough the other direction, please.
Yeah.
Down.
Oh my God.
I want to know about what because both of you, I think we both got on stage the night that it happened,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you were at Comedy Cellar New York, and I was at Comedy Cellar Vegas.
Yeah.
So I remember reading it at 4 p.m. I had 2 shows that night, and I was furious.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is it. Like this,
Yeah.
not like, oh, we've arrived at authoritarian. It's like, we've
Yeah.
been there, but like it really, and I was trying to figure out how to do it because my first job is to entertain, right?
Yeah.
That's my comedian's first job. But I was so angry that I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to get on stage in front of a Vegas audience, by the way,
Yeah.
which is older, whiter, more conservative.
Yeah, bunch of retired cops. Crazy thing about Vegas, they're all retired cops, but they're all also swingers.
So many swingers.
So many swingers.
Swing town.
Swingers,
Swing
lifestyle.
Swinger convention.
Listen, handcuffs either way.
Incredible bit. Is that a bit?
And
That should be a bit.
it could be.
That'll be a clip. That'll be a clip.
I was
clip.
going to Canada, which was very funny. And so because I went on stage at the Comedy Cellar the day of the Kirk shooting, and that was like, everyone was sort of like, what are people saying? And like the host kind of mentioned it, and the crowd was like, and so I didn't say anything about that until I want to say like 2 days afterwards at the VU, and I got like I kind of just talked about this like search to find why trans people were responsible and just nothing.
Yeah.
Connecting the dots as far as you
It
can.
was so wild to be
bullets
like,
are-
it was like, no, there's
The
some,
bullets are trans?
they were
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
something, no, someone's trans. I know it.
Someone somewhere is
Yeah,
trans
and I was like, no, what you're smelling is your browser history. Stop. Like, stop.
Yeah, what you're
They're
smelling
like
is the
you pouring out
grinder.
statistics.
They were like,
The
I'm-
grinder shut down
Yeah.
in
The
Phoenix.
Which we have since found out was not legitimate, unfortunately.
Oh,
yeah,
not-
I know.
But at
bummer.
CPAC it happens.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Yes,
CPAC has
that has
happened
been
multiple
legitimate.
times.
Yes.
Okay.
I was in Canada, and it's funny because I made a few jokes. I was like, so happy to do stand-up comedy in Canada, and they had like a big joke about that. The one thing I said that went really well, I said, does it count as the Underground Railroad if it was Delta? So that, I mean, like, I talked about kind of like the American viewpoint in a different country of America.
Yeah.
You were in kind of like America.
Trump country.
Yeah.
Trump
Yeah.
country.
Vegas.
I decided what to do. I was like, do your set as you would.
Yeah.
And keep it as middle of the road as you can, because
Yeah.
I tend to skew, obviously, real left. But I was like, keep it middle of the road. Like, get them.
Yeah.
You want them. Get them. And then I ended it with like a 2-minute little thing about like,
Yeah.
I hope we saw the news. Like, this is insane that we're here. I hope you're alarmed. I hope that wherever you lie politically, you can understand that this is a massive violation of freedom of speech and act accordingly. I want to be able to keep doing this. I had a great time with you guys tonight, and we all were able to laugh together, and I won't be able to keep doing this if this is allowed. And I got like a big applause. Not from everyone.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't from everyone, but I got more applause than I assumed I would. But I was like, I can't get up here and not say something about this. That's also not like, you know what? Like, because then I guess someone emailed one of the other comics, because the comic that went up after me also said something. But again, very middle ground.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's all keep in mind that the government, the people in power, are this tiny little sliver, and they have so much power, and they are trying to divide us, and it is our job as a country and the many, many, many of us to come together and realize that what we have are common. We all want a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
We want good education, we want safety, we want healthcare, we want like all this stuff. Let's kind of a call to action to like stand together. I guess someone emailed him and was like, we had to sit through that first comedian talking about it, and then we're here to have a good time. And that really got me, because I'm like,
The only way you can have a good time is if you let comics do their job. So when you have governmental overreach at this level, no one's going to have a good time.
No one.
No one is going to have a good time if they start going, she said what? Get her off.
Get it? Yeah.
Get her off the stage. And you go, if that's from, here's the thing. If that's from the club booker, if that's from the manager that night, if that's from the host, open critique. If that's a governmental mandate, we are in different territory.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's the difference. Hey, Obama never said, what? Get Sean Hannity off the TV screen now. He said, let him cook.
Yeah.
Let him.
Yes.
He's gonna say.
You're
Sean
right.
Hannity's gonna say a bunch of lies about me. Go for it. What am I gonna
Yes.
do?
Well, and the comment section, of course, I posted that thing online, and the comment section was a lot of people saying, hey, great,
Yeah.
thank you. And then obviously a lot of people not saying that. But, a lot of the right wing comments were like, you're allowed to say whatever you want, but that doesn't mean there's no consequences, which is the clapback that, I feel like there's like a comedian I heard of last year that was like fired from or wasn't able to come to a club because she was like screaming the N-word all over her social media and like blatantly, openly racist. And the club was like, you can't come here. And she was like, this is a violation of my free speech. And that was like, so
that's what I want to ask both of you as comedians and as people who are constantly engaging or having to toe the line of where can I push, where can I be provocative, where can I not? Yeah. And then we're also right now in the midst of a conversation about hate speech versus free speech versus censorship. So what does it mean for you as comedians right now to have to self-censor? And then also what does it mean regarding something like Charlie Kirk? I mean, at the end of the day, Charlie Kirk was entitled to his free speech. It's hate speech, in my opinion. It's very violent hate speech, and it's inciting violence, and it's inciting hatred amongst many communities. It's also, I think, radicalizing a younger generation. However, he's entitled to say what he wants to say. So the complicated thing is that there was a lot of complaints, or there's a lot of discourse online from MAGA, from the right, saying, it was free speech. He's a champion of free speech. He's yay, free speech. That's why he said what he got to say. And then the left came and tried to backhand it. And then Jimmy Kimmel got canceled. And then now the left is saying, well, that's free speech. It's free speech. So what's the line there?
The line for me is so easy. It's if the government, so if the FCC chair, the Federal Communications Commission, if the FCC chair, if a person in the cabinet at the highest level says, this business transaction won't happen unless you do what I tell you to.
Okay.
That is specifically, explicitly, and nakedly governmental censorship. And that is kind of the one thing that everyone needs to grasp, because that's a very specific type of censorship.
And the kind of censorship that we see in China, Russia,
and Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. my.
Listen, if you're a comedy going to Saudi Arabia and we see you at the Comedy Cellar, just know when I see you, happy you made it back with both hands. But we gonna make fun of you a little bit. We gonna make fun of you a little bit.
Absolutely.
We should be allowed to.
We should be allowed to. We should be allowed to. There's a comedy festival in Riyadh.
Okay.
That, like, the top names in comedy are all going, and it's just a very interesting. Saudi Arabia is not.
What are they going to talk about?
Well, Saudi Arabia, I didn't know all of this up until I want to say this past week. Saudi Arabia, they have disappeared journalists. They have disappeared comedians' wives. They have killed American journalists. They have ties that are very kind of now indisputably linking them to 9/11. This prince who is actually putting on the festival has this kind of his own wing in this prison where he's put people who have spoke out against him online, who have said unfavorable things about the soccer team. If
a prince is putting on a comedy festival, let's proceed with caution.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's tricky.
Well, once again, that is true governmental overreach and censorship. And so that is the line. When it comes to free speech versus hate speech, sometimes we're going to get bogged down in what people consider hate speech because, and this sounds terrible, if they don't consider women people, gay people, black people, they're not going to consider it hate speech because they don't consider you a person.
Yeah. They're not worthy of
totally
that. They're just not going to care.
Yeah.
So you can't even have that conversation with people.
Well, and I think that's what so much of the muddiness has been online, on the media stations, on Fox News. Oh my God, we're gonna get canceled now. Oh no.
But like, do you understand? Like, I don't. Do you understand and see the humor in Charlie Kirk telling Taylor Swift to submit to Travis Kelce and stop trying to have a career now? And wouldn't you know it, who is running his show now?
And she's got like a master's degree.
Yeah.
She's like higher ed.
Yep.
She's got a very impressive resume.
Yeah.
And she also was like, your job is to stay at home with the family. And it's I read this thing that was like, there will always be a job for like a high-powered right-wing woman who is willing to tell other women to not rise up, to not, like there's always a platform for the like, hey, you stay down there, but I'm gonna go.
Yeah, and kind of like the hypocrisy present in that you can't even talk about because people go, she's mourning.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Don't say anything mean.
Mm-hmm.
She just lost her husband. Meanwhile, she's like, we have all these new T-shirts.
Pyrotechnics.
The pyrotechnics is what got me. I was like, girl.
Oh my
Actually,
God.
pyrotechnics for everybody.
Oh.
The whole funeral
It
was a fireworks
Could we
convention.
call it a funeral? Could we call it
No, it was. I mean, it was
an absolute
yeah.
cult
Yeah, it was.
stunt?
It was a turning point.
Yeah.
USA commercial.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm finding interesting is
And a
this
rally.
dialogue is
Yeah.
now watching some people who have been, quite popular advocates and supporters of Donald Trump are now backtracking, in particular in regards to censorship.
Yeah.
The fact that like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson
in
particular are like
Wow.
condemning like Pam Bondi and the Trump administration for wanting to they want to pass a law about essentially about hate speech, like criminalizing hate
Yeah.
speech, but using that as the blanket for governmental censorship. But it's interesting watching in particular people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson kind of be like, whoa.
Well, because I think they
Shocking.
do have enough common sense to be like, I've said some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Candace Owens.
Candace Owens. Yeah, it was wild watching a Tucker Carlson thing and going, am I going to repost
Do I
this?
agree? What? Shocking.
Is this going on stories?
Who knew?
And I was
It
like,
definitely,
it's
you
not.
definitely would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I had to. It was like I was like, snap out of it.
Yeah. I hate that they have put us in the position where we do have to look to Marjorie Taylor Greene to make a little bit of sense.
I resent that too.
That shows you just how wild things have gotten in this administration and just how kind of like anti-freedom the party of freedom is right now. It's a very weird time because as a stand-up comedian, Alex, you know how like as a comic, all these people who do comedy and then the minute they get off stage, you go, oh, just so y'all know, that guy's kind of Republican. You go, oh, that guy kind of really hates women. Cue that. He like actually.
Ooh.
So many.
It's a lot of.
So many.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised by that.
No,
Yeah.
This is what surprises me when they are still scared to speak up against this kind of stuff. I go, so what's all this even for?
Yeah.
Like, why do you
Yeah.
want to be a comic? Do
That
you want to be a
was-
comic so I guess people who you don't like you? Like, what kind of fan base do you want to
Yeah.
curate? What are you pursuing? Do you just want their money? Like, and I've said this, I've written this, and I stand by it. I think that Tim Dillon went from being a funny, evil gay to now being more evil than funny if you say stuff like, oh, JD Vance called me twice. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know why you want to
And
talk.
he was booted from the Riyadh Festival.
For saying stuff about Saudi Arabia. I don't
know who he is.
I don't get
Dylan.
it. He's a comedian in Los Angeles who has like a big Patreon, and he's one of the first people to make tons of money from Patreon.
Wow.
And when he first started it, he was doing kind of this spoof of talk radio host. He was kind of making fun of Rush Limbaugh, but he also was making fun of Meghan McCain. He was making fun of kind of these centrists. He was making fun of old school Republicans. He's kind of having like a nihilistic approach to podcasting and the government and making fun of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But when JD Vance is calling you and giving you your talking points and telling you what you got wrong, it's hard. Now you're not really this like kind of, free speech champion trailblazer anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like after Alex Jones has been on there twice, and people are like, oh, that's fucking gross. Like, but now if the actual government is calling you and checking up on what you're saying, now
they're just bringing you into the fold, and you're
that's
part of
what
this.
Saying
That's what you were, and you were like like all last week, just like calling it out, which I think is so important.
Yeah.
Because it's like I was surprised in Vegas.
Yeah.
The other comedian was like, "Hey, thank you for saying that," and I'm just surprised more comedians aren't talking about this right now.
Right?
Because
how could you not be talking about it?
Because
fear, I would assume.
Fear, or if it doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
If it doesn't affect you. My job is to entertain.
Yeah.
I don't want to get serious.
True. This is what it was close to. It would have been Mike Pence went to Hamilton.
Oh, I remember.
Okay,
yes.
so if
I got into a fight with my family member about it.
This is what would have happened. This is a 1-to-1. If Mike Pence would have gone to Hamilton, stood up, and said, shut this down, and, NYPD officers came in and said, we're not doing the show tonight, that's what the Jimmy Kimmel suspension indefinitely felt like. It felt like someone in the administration went, we can't do this. And they solely made a choice. It wasn't investors. It wasn't Disney. It wasn't producers. It wasn't his producer from ABC. It was a government official vis-a-vis the president, because that's who Trump picked for the FCC chair, and because Trump had said he wanted to happen. And that day, Trump said, after the suspension was announced, what did he say? He tweeted, he put on Truth Social, get Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers.
Who's next? Yeah.
It's so just out there that it's almost like, how can you miss it? Like, it's so blatant.
And how can you think he's gonna be on your side as a comic? I'm not Greg Gutfeld. He's not gonna like what I have to say, and I don't even talk about him. He's gonna be like, no, I don't like this. Alex, thank you for asking that kind of stuff, though. Thank you for I don't know. You're honest and real. And right now in comedy, it does seem like there is this pursuit of. Okay, so Drew, this is something that's crazy that's going on right now. So right now, over the past 4 years, it is connected to Trump. There's a very specific type of person you can market to, and it's a person who's kind of been pincer moved by Joe Rogan, Donald Trump, and not necessarily Andrew Tate, but there's always a third person where it's this cornerstone of fitness, comedy, and being a man. Being a man was under attack, so now you have people who think, oh, you have to get this kind of man. And so many comics right now are pursuing that audience because they think that audience is going to be loyal to them. But unless you're a straight white guy, they will betray you, because the nicest thing they can say is, oh, pretty funny for a faggot. Oh, pretty funny for a woman. Oh, she's not that funny, but I'd fuck her. That's the nicest thing they can say about you. No, it's not. I mean, they write comments on YouTube. Not about me, but pursuing them is such a fool's errand, and a lot of people think that that's where some money is going to be. It's not, and they're not nice.
Well, and I love also just watching you as an example of you have this massive following. You're so funny. You're so genuine. You were speaking out against this, and you're it's just such an example of you can push back against.
Yeah, and you don't have to pursue them. I think that the pursuit of that kind of 18 to 24 straight white male demographic, because we have to get their money, because we see how much power they have. You can't control them. You can put out your stuff, like you said, you can put out your stuff and help really cool people come to you. And some of those guys kind of splinter off and they come to you, but you cannot pursue them in a way that's not genuine, and especially in a way that's unsafe to you as a comedian who is in some form marginalized, on some kind of you have something they're not going to vibe with. I just want people to know that. There's going to be one thing that they're going to be I don't like her. They're going to be
and it only takes, it's so funny too, the margin of there could be 5 or 10 things that they don't like about the straight white guy. They go, but he's still my guy.
Yeah.
Versus I'll say one thing that threatens their masculinity or threatens anything about their existence. They liked 9 out of 10 things I said.
Of course.
But the one thing they go, women aren't funny.
And goes, she made that joke about guys who come fast. I've come fast.
come
sometimes.
fast.
She's
You're
a
hitting a
witch.
nerve.
It's so
Burner.
absolutely burner at the stake, Salem style.
It's so funny that you say that because like, you on stage, do you see their faces sort of shift every now and then?
I feel their energy go.
Yeah. I had a guy last night directly to my left. Crowd having a very good time. All of these people like having a lot of fun. Big open laughs, open energy. His wife is laughing a lot. He's not allowed to laugh as much. So then I have to like notice it. It's not like it's a guy in the back who's kind of hiding. It's like a guy who's right here. So I have to be like, look at me. Sir, you can laugh at some of this gay stuff. Look at me. And so now the crowd's laughing even more because I'm like, hey, look at me. And I know part of it
Was he tensing up even more?
yeah, but then he also would like kind of like show his face. But it was just one of those things where like as a comic you go, I don't know if you know this, but you're giving me a gift. I have a bunch of good jokes. I have so many good jokes. I don't want to tell these jokes. Yeah. But your reaction now is part of the jokes because you could just be laughing like everyone else.
Yeah.
And you're like kind of like hiding. It's so funny to watch, especially when like, I don't know, there's a bunch of people at the cellar who I know exactly like they have to go through the same thing as us. But it is fun to be like, ooh, yeah, get them. Wake them up a little bit.
Get them.
Make them. And then you also hear the power and the freedom in the gay people that are there, the women that are there being like,
Yeah.
the crowds are great. I want to say the crowds are amazing. Well, right now, I think the cellar has some of the coolest crowds because post-COVID, the West Village is so young and people have a little bit of money. And 30 to 40-year-olds are very good comedy audiences because they know comedy and they like comedy. So the crowds are great. But there are some boys who like still get kind of caught up in this bullshit.
Yeah, of course.
100%. And sometimes when they skew more, like if I'm doing the later sets or super, super late, and then I just walk into the room and go, ugh.
I had a oh my God, what was it? I had like one of the 1 o'clock joints.
The Boneyard?
The boneyard, yeah.
Howl at that Boneyard, baby.
With Mad Dog, with James.
Yeah.
And so the boys were chippy at the beginning. Row of frat boys on a 1 a.m. show in the lounge.
Yep.
You're kind of, middle school comes back. You always, whoa, okay. But I kind of went on the offensive and I made sure I gave them a little, I said, wait a second, where are y'all from? Gave them something. They gave me something back. I had a joke instantly for it. They said Virginia. I have a joke about Virginia. Got them, hooked them. Now they're the good kind of well-intentioned, but still loud and dumb and kind of drunk, straight frat boys.
Yeah.
But you do kind of have to like,
you gotta go and you
it.
do, and it's so interesting that you said middle school comes back because it tells me that I go through a similar thing of in those. Sometimes it's unfortunately fear led.
Yeah.
It's trauma response, walking into a room and going, am I safe in here?
yeah, no,
Am I
yes.
safe in here?
Yeah.
And you, of course, we are safe in
Yeah.
here. But my lizard brain walks into that room and goes, this is full of men. They're all drunk. I'm a woman. I'm alone. up
Absolutely,
there.
yeah.
No, 100%.
You are gay. You
yeah.
got ripped
Yep.
apart in middle school, identity stuff. Like it is the constant pushing down of fear and having to like rise above your fear to be like, I'm going to get you on my side because that's going to make me safe.
And and here's the thing, and it ties back to the original conversation. That shit is already going on. I don't need the government to add to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't need to be like, oh, am I gonna get in? If I'm worried about posting my joke about how they thought the bullets were trans in the Charlie Kirk shooting, if I'm worried that someone's gonna see that and then they're gonna look into everything and they're gonna start surveilling me, that's insane.
If you can't say fuck, you can't say fuck the government.
Can't say fuck, you can. Lenny
There you go.
Bruce.
Lenny Bruce.
He's
Lenny
pretty
Bruce.
good.
All right.
We got to wrap.
We got to wrap. This
Yeah.
was phenomenal.
That was a dynamite
I
conversation.
love that.
No, thank y'all for
wish we
having
could talk
me.
for so much longer.
I like getting into the mud.
Let's fucking get into it, baby. We'll have you back for part 2.
Yeah,
Next
seriously,
time when
come
Seth
back.
Meyers is kicked off.
Oh.
Yep.
And we can find you at Jay Jurden across all platforms.
Yes, you can find me at Jay Jurden across all platforms, including Twitter, where I don't just have rants. I post underwear pictures.
Oh,
Yes,
such a bod. It's
Daddy.
crazy.
We don't even
Incredible
have time
bod.
to talk
Alt.
about
Show
that.
us
Twitter.
Wait a minute. We're on.
We didn't
Take
even
this.
I mean, I
take
know. I
this
was
off.
watching
We
your
didn't-
chest.
Take this off.
And, like-
Take this off. We're on
We
camera. Can you look at these shoulders? Honey, Jeopardy snap.
In the mud.
We have a little fun going on. I could have done it like this.
Wow.
I could've.
Ooh, is that a bicep thing?
But
A
yeah,
little off the shoulder.
Jay Jurden on all platforms, and I have a special coming to Hulu November 7th. It's called Yes Ma'am. It's my first special. So yeah,
Incredible.
thank you.
Can't wait. All right. Okay.
So
Love
And I'm
this.
on tour. Come see me on.
Yes, see him
Come to New York to
wherever.
see us.
Yes. But no, see,
Amazing.
he's on tour a lot, and he's the best.
Incredible.
Okay, love you
Thanks
so
for being
much.
here.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, everybody. Bye.